We did this as a team, guys. Unbelievable. What a race. Oh, I loved it.
I think this was one of his better victories because he controlled the pace the entire weekend.
For sure.
And we talk about the race, obviously, but he got pole position, converted the pole position, which is huge for Red Bull as a team. And as well for Max, it was technically his third career pole, but officially only his second, obviously, when Mexico was taken away. But it was one of his most complete races, the way he was able to manage the pace. And even when he got behind, Hamilton wasn't stressed out too much. He had the faster car all weekend.
For sure.
And 100% in control. And it all comes down to Red Bull providing Verstappen with the car to be able to challenge the likes of Mercedes, or if it's Ferrari next year, who knows. But I really think that Max has all the tools to win world championships right now. And Brazil is a good race before that. We've seen it in Germany, obviously. But I just think, for me, this win was even more impressive just because he controlled everything in a calm manner. Strategy was on point from Red Bull. They did excellent strategy calls.
It was a great individual win for Max, but also a great team win. And, if Alex Albon did convert and get the podium finish, it would have been the best finish they would have had in a very long time.
Yeah, it looked like Red Bull won too.
Yeah.
For a few laps until the accident happened. So I think Verstappen, one of his most impressive victories for sure, and he had some really, really good moves. I think it was on Hamilton in turn one, the one that you were talking about before. The safety car restart as well, very intelligently
done. That was on
done.
turn 8, possibly? Was it turn 8?
Yeah, well, he backed everybody up quite far and then just took off and controlled it. But qualifying lap 2, man, if you remember back to Q3 on his first run, he went wide and was on the grass, and yet he still went 0.2 faster than anybody. So he had amazing pace all throughout the year, or all throughout the weekend, and this is a good track for Red Bull. We saw it last year, and like you mentioned off the top of the show, Verstappen gets his revenge from 12 months ago in Brazil.
Sure. Last year, and you think back to 2016 with the wet race, and that was probably one of the best, another race that's going to define his career, and probably one of the best races he's had. And I think he loves Brazil. He loves coming here, and he does really well whenever he does. So it's exciting to see him, continue his form in Brazil and not drop down to what we would expect to be P4, P5. Not a great finish for him there.
Yeah, it's been a tough couple of races for Red Bull and Max. They've taken a lot of penalties earlier after the summer break. And, like you said, P4 finishes P5. Obviously, accidents in Japan, and then the whole debacle in Mexico. So he's been there to get podiums or to get wins, and then certain things just kind of get in his way. So it was nice to see him back at the front and battling with Lewis.
And I think Lewis said it best. He was asked, he's like, is there something you could have done to make you closer to Max? And he's like, we did everything. We threw everything that we could at Red Bull this entire weekend, and we just didn't have the pace for it.
No,
they just had the perfect setup for this race. And he's right. They everything was set up perfectly to both the drivers, not just Max Verstappen. Because Alex Albon on his own had a fantastic race as well.